Zion National Park is a hiker's paradise, and it has some of the most sought-after trails in the US, like Angel's Landing and the Narrows. Plus, there are a lot of little hidden gems that are well worth exploring. So in this episode, I'll let you know which trails you need to check out when you visit Zion. But there are a couple things you'll want to keep in mind before hiking. First, always check the weather, especially if you're hiking around creeks and rivers. Flash flooding is no joke, and it can be deadly. So if there's even a chance, it's probably best to change your plans. Next, Zion is a semi-arid climate. It's not quite a desert, but it's dry, and it gets pretty hot. So make sure you take plenty of water and snacks. This is especially important if you plan on filtering water. Zion streams are known to have a toxic cyanobacteria that cannot be filtered. So you'll have to pack all of the water you'll need on trail. Third, sturdy footwear is a must-have. You can get away with tennis shoes on some trails, but if you hike the Narrows or other water trails with tennis shoes, they'll probably slip off your feet and you'll be lucky if you find them. Finally, some of these trails require permits, so you'll have to plan ahead and secure one. We'll let you know which ones need permits once we get there. If it's your first time visiting Zion and none of this makes sense, that's okay. It's a lot to keep up with, so I created a free Zion starter guide to help you start planning your trip. This guide will give you strategies for parking in Zion Canyon, and it'll help you navigate the Zion shuttles. Plus, it has overviews for every stop in Zion Canyon. The starter guide is available at the link in the description. Now on to the trails. Starting off, we have the Watchman Trail. This one is just up the road from the Zion Canyon Visitor Center, so you don't even have to ride the shuttle. This is only a 3-mile round trip, but it's a good bit of elevation gain, and it gets hot in the summer. The final stop is a small loop on a plateau, with a great view of the Watchman. Next up is the Emerald Pools Trail. This hike is in Zion Canyon, but it normally gets overshadowed by Angel's Landing and the Narrows. You can start this one at the Zion Lodge or the Grotto, and it's pretty easy. There are 3 different pools to see. The lower pool has a mostly paved path, with a couple waterfalls tumbling off the cliffs. The middle pool isn't much to look at, and it's only got a small cascade. But the upper pool has the best scenery. The upper pool has a 300-foot seasonal waterfall. It consistently flows during the snowmelt in the spring and early summer. Although the stretch of trail leading to the upper pool has a little bit of elevation gain, so you'll have to work a little. East Zion has unofficial trails scattered along the Zion-Mount Carmel Scenic Highway, and there's one at just about every pullout. Since the park doesn't officially recognize these trails, you have to know where to look. But once you find them, you'll be rewarded with peace and quiet. Lower Clear Creek, Petroglyph Pools, and Zion Cascades are a few examples of these trails. But my favorite was the Mini Pools Trail. You'll have to walk through a sandy wash that passes under a bridge, but then you can just follow the cliffs as far as you want to go. And the views get better as you get higher. The Laverkin Creek Trail sits in Kolob Canyons, and it's one of Zion's best kept secrets. This is a 15-mile round trip that can be done as a camping trip or a day hike. I did it as a day hike. The path follows a creek around the Kolob Fingers, so there's gorgeous scenery throughout the entire trail. Then the path turns towards a little side canyon that leads to Kolob Arch. This is the 6th longest natural arch in the world, and it's one of the best landmarks in the Zion backcountry. Just make sure you prepare properly if you're going to do this one as a day hike. The Northgate Peaks Trail is a little trail that's tucked away in Kolob Terrace. You have to use the Wildcat Canyon trailhead to access it, but it has some great views, and most people don't even know it's there. Initially, the trail passes through a couple open meadows, then it turns towards the peaks. There's a great overlook that faces a rock formation named Guardian Angel. And this is a worthy destination in itself. But if you're adventurous, you can scramble up the surrounding peaks to get a view back towards Zion Canyon. The Canyon Overlook Trail is the most popular stop in East Zion. It's a 1-mile round trip, and it's only got a couple hundred feet of elevation gain, so it's a crowd pleaser. There's some decent views from the trail, but everyone does this one for the overlook at the end, which has a wide open view of lower Zion Canyon. This trail is also a great place to spot bighorn sheep. As a warning, parking for this trail is terrible, so get there early in the morning or late in the day to avoid a headache. Observation Point is one of Zion's best viewpoints. The route to the Overlook used to go through Zion Canyon, but a rock slide blocked the path. Now you have to use the East Mesa trailhead to get there. The road leading to the trailhead isn't in great shape, but Zion Ponderosa provides a shuttle for $10 during peak season. The trail is 7 miles long, but it's an easy 7 miles. There aren't a lot of great views from the trail, but the final view from Observation Point is one of the best views in all of Zion. Kolob Terrace is the most underrated district in Zion, but it has some great hidden gems. At least they seem hidden to the sightseers and tourists. But locals know all about Kolob Terrace, and the West Rim Trail is a local favorite. This trail starts at the Lava Point Overlook, then it proceeds 15 miles into Zion Canyon. That's 15 miles one way. So I had to park in Springdale to get a shuttle to the trailhead. The West Rim Trail has a ton of beautiful views, from Potato Hollow to Phantom Valley. Also, this part of Zion is even more beautiful in the fall. Now I did this one as a day hike, which was rough, but you can also reserve campsites along the trail and turn it into a camping trip. Before I get to the next hike, if you're getting value from this video, remember to give it a like and leave a comment. It's a small thing you can do to help the channel grow. Next on the list is Taylor Creek. This trail is hidden away in Kolob Canyons. I would say this is the most underrated trail in Zion, and several park rangers agree. This trail follows a small creek between the Kolob Fingers, while it passes a couple historic cabins. And the final landmark is Double Arch Alcove. It's not the best landmark, but it's still good. But since the trail is in Kolob Canyons, it's quiet and peaceful, which is a nice change of pace for Zion. Next up is Angel's Landing. This trail is nothing short of iconic. The chain section is one of the most popular sections of trail in the US. The views from the top are insane, and we even saw a California condor while we were on the chain section. So why is it number 3? When it comes to hiking trails, Zion has an embarrassment of riches. But Angel's Landing gets so much social media craze that the trail is just crowded. You need a permit to hike it, but the crowds are still massive, even with the permit system. All that being said, I love this trail. I just have to be strategic about hiking it. I prefer hiking early in the morning or going in the off-season to avoid the crowds. Either way, this trail should not be missed. And I made a full walkthrough so you can hike it too. That video is linked in the description. The Narrows is the trail that put Zion on the map. The trail follows the Virgin River through a slot canyon, with 1,000-foot tall cliffs towering above the trail. Little waterfalls trickle off the canyon walls, and parts of the trail glow when the light is right. This is a one-of-a-kind hiking experience, and you don't need a permit to hike the Narrows if you start from Zion Canyon. You can just start hiking up the river until you feel like turning around, which makes it a great option for almost everybody. The subway is hands down the best trail in Zion, but it requires a permit. It's an 8-mile round trip with a decent amount of elevation gain, but the trail is gorgeous. The toughest part is the climb in and out of the canyon at the beginning. This section is steep and rocky. Once we got down into the canyon, the path followed North Creek, as in we had to hike in the creek. The trail even took us up and over a couple waterfalls, until finally we reached a slot canyon with a tube-shaped entrance, known as the subway. In my opinion, the subway is the most beautiful spot in Zion.